What is the title? What? LOC, right? I mean, we have never told what that is on purpose, excepting the core team. There are no gifts for guessing because I think they've given out everything. I'm not sure. So any wild guesses? What is LOC? Love of Christ. Wonderful. Okay. Anything else that comes to your mind? But that is bang on. We'll come to that slightly later. Line of control. Yeah, that is what we know. I'll come to that also. Yeah. Anything else that comes to your mind? I had two other things. One was obviously love of Christ. But before that, I needed two more about LOC. Life of Christ. Excellent. Okay. There is just one. I'm sure you'll get it. The LOSS? What did you say? The law of Christ or? No. All right. Let us not lose out on time. Every year, Google around this time of the year, comes up with a beautiful video. Now don't Google it. You can do it after 20 minutes. I'm sure most of you wait for that video, at least I wait for it, because they base it on a lot of data about what kind of searches happened throughout the year. And I know there are crores of searches, right? Yes, no? Every day. And these guys have the capacity to get all that data and come up with a video which says, in this year, more than ever, every video at the end of the year starts with this line. In this year, more than ever, people in the world search for ... You've seen that video? Yes? No? How many of you seen that? We are about 150 people here, and we don't even have 15 hands up. So after this session today, go and just type this, And they call this video, listen carefully, just give me 20 minutes, I will share what is on my heart, right? With an open mind. They name these videos, the end of the year videos, called, obviously it is Google, the year in. The year in, right? And you just type the year and you will get. I'm sure you will guess this, even if none of you have seen these videos. What was the world searching all through in the year 2020? Go on. Okay, COVID. Vaccine. Go on. Now don't Google, You're all looking at me, I know. Economy. Oh, you are like, are you into stock markets and things like that? I mean, we invest. Yeah, obviously, you are worried about economy. Right, let me not waste time. In 2020, in the year, the people in this world searched more than ever, why? WHY. That was the most searched word. You know the answer is obvious. Why COVID? Why mass? Why are people dying? Why is it happening to me? And every video, go and check later, it ends, search on. Obviously, Google is the most, that is the largest search engine. All of this. Okay. 2021. 2021, they made another video with all this data. And the world searched something more than ever before. What did they search? So the 2020, if you just look at all that has happened, it was a very, very confusing year. Yes, no? The confusing year because, COVID just happened and nobody had a clue. At least for the initial first 2 months, developed countries, underdeveloped countries, whoever it is, they didn't have a clue. We were just struggling. And when the lockdown came in India, I think we were the most confused lot. We didn't know what to do. Nobody had a clue. So, that is not given by Google. I chose to give that word. It was the most confusing year. 2021, they searched how can I become strong? Or how can I, move forward? How can I help? How can I? This was the one that was searched the most. So the year of 2021 is a year of challenges. Yes, no? All of us are part of it. 2020 was confusing. 2021 was challenging. But most of us sitting here, even if we were hurt, I'm sure all of you sitting here had some kind of hurt. Maybe to the extent of losing your near and dear. I lost my first cousin, his daughter, in a span of 2 weeks, especially the second wave. But yet, even if people were hurt, they were hopeful. Yes, no? That's why we're sitting here. That's why we're sitting here, because somewhere, somebody gave us hope. Or you got that hope. Even if we were tired, we kept trying. You kept trying, that's why you're sitting here. Yes, no? That's why you're sitting here. 2022, this is the year. Now smile. Confusion is over. Confusion is over to an extent. Challenge is over. 2022, the world searched more than ever. These are not my words. These are all in that video. Can I, whatever, can I, most of them said, change. That was what most people searched for in the year 2022, which is ending in a few days. Can I change? So this is a year of comeback. Yes, no? Pretty much everything came back. And it will come back. So my question is, there will be times when we are confused. There will be times when we face challenges. There will be times when we surely would come back. But a deeper question to ask is, how can I have complete conviction within my heart to move forward irrespective of whatever happens? Now they're calling a triple pandemic or something like that. Yes, no? If you're not heard, you are blessed. But in the US, there is some term, I forget that acronym, RS something, respiratory something, there are 3 letters. It is in the US, now we know how soon it can come to India. So the sooner you understand, so the question that I want to place before you is, how do I get clarity? Clarity about this very life, which is given by God. Whether we believe it or not, life is given by God. So I need clarity about how to take this life forward irrespective of whatever happens, for which you need to know purpose for your life. Unless I know my purpose, I will never have clarity. All of these things would disturb. So the question is, how can we find clarity? You and I can only find clarity when we get connected to the one who created us. Now the problem is, the one who created us is God. That is what I believe in. Hopefully most of you believe. Some people may not believe that. It's okay. I'm not here to debate or discuss. But to find purpose in life is when we get connected to the one who created us. Because the one who created us can only tell us why he created you and me. Now the point is, we as finite human beings, all of us are finite, right? Yes, no? Right? Only God is infinite. Only God. So the gap between infinite and finite is infinity. Let me stop there. Right? Yes, no? Think about it. So a finite human being cannot bridge that gap with whatever you want to do. Throughout the history of mankind, people made efforts to know God. Because that is one desire everybody has deep inside. That's a vacuum, which people try to fill. Even I filled that vacuum with a lot of things when I was young. I tried all kinds of things. A lot of people continue to try. but that vacuum was still there. So, if we have to understand the infinite, who can disclose the purpose? The infinite has to come down because the finite cannot reach infinite. Can't. Are you with me? That is what has happened 2022 years ago. God, who is infinite, He can only bridge the gap between the finite human beings. Now let me come to LOC. Some answers they've given. But the one word that I was looking for is the light of Christmas. The light of Christmas. Because Christmas, wherever they celebrate, it's all about a star, right? I mean, generally, whether it is in Hyderabad or in Hong Kong, or in Orbit Mall or anywhere, nothing to do with religion per se, but they keep a star, and star is out there to give light. Yes, no, right? So let me quickly, talk about the light of Christmas. And I'll come to these two, which the other answers that came from the audience. I'm not all that good at physics, neither in chemistry nor in math. But this is basic physics. Scientists for hundreds of years continue to struggle to describe whether light is a wave or a particle. You check Byju's also, the answer will be, because that is the most used, unfortunately. Let me stop there, all those Byju's fans who are sitting here. What they have finally told is, at the same point in time, it is from what perspective you look at light. I mean, you look at it from one perspective, you can tell light is a wave. You look at it from another perspective, you can say light is a particle. The rest you Google, if you are interested in physics, quantum physics, study. Don't come to me for further answers. But at the same time, I mean, this is what I'm convinced based on what I read. At the same time, light can be a wave. At the same time, light can be a particle. Okay? Now, why? I mean, it's a Christmas event. Why do you have to go to physics and all of this stuff? The reason why I chose to tell that is, when Jesus was described as the light of the world, to give light to people in darkness, that is spiritual darkness, it answers one major question that people had throughout centuries. That is Jesus God or is Jesus man? If you look at one perspective, you will find him to be completely God, like light being 100% a wave. At the same time, you look at light and you can scientifically prove that light is 100% a particle. Are you with me? So that means to say that light has a dual nature. No more physics. So with the same thing, Jesus, at the same point in time, if you look at his life on this planet Earth, was 100% God, at the same time, 100% man. Now the question is why? The question that was asked in 2020, not about Jesus, about life. The most searched question in 2020 and even otherwise is this question, why? Because that question sometimes is exciting. Sometimes that very question makes us cry. That very question. So I'm not here to make you cry. May we all be happy. So if we had to be 100% God, for what reason? Again, I go back. God is infinite. God is spirit. God doesn't have form. God doesn't have form. God doesn't have a beginning and an end. We have a beginning and an end. Each one of us began, our life began the day we were born to our parents. We all know that. We didn't have control over whom we will be born to. And we don't even have control about when that stop comes. For Peter Samuel, the stop can be tomorrow, it could be today or whenever, right? But it will. But for God, it is not a start and a stop, it is a state. It is a state. So he is always present. He is always present. Now for us as human beings, who have this finite minds to understand infinite God. People, again, throughout centuries, if you are interested, you can do that research and study. Mankind reasoned out. They used reason to discover God. And still, they were not up there. People use rituals to discover God. And still they struggle. People use religion to discover God. If you think I'm here to preach about religion or to propagate religion, I'm sorry, I don't follow religion. I don't preach religion because I don't believe. If God cannot be found by reason, if God cannot be found by a ritual, if God cannot be found by religion, how can we find? It can only happen when God himself reveals to you. God can only be known when he reveals. That is revelation. And that is what happened. That is my personal belief and faith. I'm not telling it should be your belief and faith. It is my belief and faith. I was convinced because I, born and brought up in a Christian family, so to say, so we were religious. We went to church. I sang songs. I did all of this. But I never knew God. I knew God here. I knew about God. Knowing about God here versus knowing here is different. And when a heart is involved, it is a relationship. Yes, no? Right? Any relationship is not here. Relationships generally are associated with heart. When God reveals, that is what happened 2022 years ago, when God revealed himself as the light of the world for people who were in darkness. And whoever got that glimpse understood who God is when they looked at Jesus. Now the second one, the dual nature of light, is how is he man and why he should be Jesus or God, a man. Right? He was God to reveal the God who is God the Spirit. Second, he was man to represent man. You might say, why should I be represented? What is the big deal? The big deal is you have to go to the creation. I don't have time to tell all of that. But what I believe as my faith is God created mankind. He created man, and then through the man, God created woman. And he placed him in a garden. And he said, you can eat anything of this garden. The garden is called Garden of Eden. Right? And he said, there is one fruit you should not eat. A lot of people say it is apple. No, it is not apple, and apple has that bitten apple. So that has nothing to do with, so if you're having an iPhone or all I have, so don't think you are, there is something related to sin. No problem. Okay, so it was not an apple tree, but for generations people told it's an apple. It's a fruit that helps man distinguish between good and evil. And God said, if you eat that, you're going to die. And then the first couple ate that. From that day on till now, every person who is born, unfortunately, have to die, but that is not what God wanted. And that is not God's desire. What will make us happy? When you see a newborn baby, I'm sure you are very happy. If there are parents sitting here and you are blessed with a child, the day that boy or girl was born, I'm sure whoever you are like, I don't think you can describe that, right? Yes, no? When we see a life coming in, it gives us so much of joy. Similarly, when there is love, genuine love between people, that gives us hope. And what happened 2022 years ago is when Jesus came as completely God and man. The reason is because of this sin that, the first couple committed. Death came. God doesn't want mankind to die. So he had to reconcile. Because a problem came between mankind and God. I'll close in the next 5 minutes. Just give me 5 more minutes. Between mankind and God. there is a gap. Now somebody has to bridge that gap. Bridge that gap. And the only person who can qualify to bridge that gap or to bring reconciliation is somebody who is associated with God 100% and with man 100%. Trust me, there is nobody who can claim to be 100% God and 100% man at the same point in time. That quality is fulfilled when you look at the life of Jesus. So he was born, but only to die for the sins of mankind, so that if somebody looks at that cross, while it is Christmas time, we look at the cradle, but simultaneously you should look at the cross because he was born to die, so that he can bring, on one side he is representing mankind, on the other side he is revealing God. And by paying that penalty, he brings these two things together. And man is reconciled. I'll say just one other thing, which is very, very important. So on one side he is the light of Christmas. On the other side, he is the love of Christmas. And both of these, the life and the love of Christmas, can be seen in the life of Christ. Somebody said, can be seen in the life of Christ. The light and the genuine love. A love that is not limited to one community. No. Because there is this wonderful verse in the Bible which says that for God so loved the world. World is everybody. That he gave his one and only Son. So that is the greatest giving. Now let me bring it to each one of you. You might sit and wonder, I mean, it's not making sense that somebody who claims to be God has come down. The infinite became finite and had to die for my sin when I was not even born. 2022 years ago, none of us were born. So it doesn't make sense. If it makes sense, why? Why is it? Am I so important? I'll tell you the answer. Let us just make it slightly, contextualized to the present. I mean, back in our school and college days, obviously there were no ready-made garments, at least in BHL, which is about 20 kilometers from here. I think even in Hyderabad, in the early 70s, only Hyderabad had ready-made garments. In the early 1990s, and there was one brand called Charmas. Some people are smiling as they're, yeah. And they were check shirts. And you wear that. Till that time, the label of the one who stitched was always inside. The tailor's name was never here. Now in this era, it is all about where the brand is printed, including your handbags, all the wonderful ladies here. Right? I mean, if it is Gucci, now you'll say, whether it is duplicate or not, nobody knows. But you want Gucci or whatever it is, right? I mean, so the brands are here. We all know it is common sense. The bigger the brand, the more the value. Yes, no? Right? Right? Whoever designed it, if the guy or that lady is a well-known designer, a world-famous designer, you know it will cost us how much? Probably very few people here may afford to wear that kind of super luxury brands. If a product's value increases by who designed it, have you ever thought of your value? Have you ever thought of your value? Aadhaar card tells you. You know why? Aadhaar card is, government says it is a unique identification number, right? UNAID is the unique identification. Why? Based on your biometrics. One fine day, you went to that center, you looked at the camera, you put your fingers. So now that is your identity, which is unique. Yes, no? Aadhaar card tells me that my biometric identity will not match with anybody on this planet Earth. Do you agree? Do you need to know science for this? Not really, right? Who gave you that design? Because each one of you is so uniquely designed, because there is nobody who was born like you or will ever be born like you. That is why the infinite became finite to tell you you are the most valuable person. You are the most valuable person on this planet Earth. There is nobody. Here you can say, now they introduce me as a former country head and all. That is gone. It's been 3 years since I retired. That is one. Remember, because of the designer, the one who designed you, the one who designed me, in my own mother's womb, initial scans will be a lump of flesh, right? But slowly, when each of the organs form, every mother who is sitting here can never ever express to feel the baby grow in their womb. So the first one is, why all of this? Is because you are unique. You are unique because of the designer who designed you. Second, a value of a product. The more we pay based on durability. This is 3 Ds. The first one is designer. Tell loudly. Whether you believe or not, God designed you. There is no doubt about it. Second is durability. The more durable a product, that is why we end up paying more. That is why companies sell saying that, 10 years guarantee, 20 years guarantee, lifetime guarantee. We know how long they will last. But we end up paying. You know what lasts forever and ever and ever? It is your soul. That is why even if somebody dies, we think about their soul. Because soul lives forever. That is why. Because your soul is unique, my soul is unique, God had to come down for you. Because He designed you. Second is, you are the most durable. Are you getting it? The third one, last D, and I am done. If you're singing a song, get ready so that we can do that silent night. The last one, maybe it may not apply to everybody, but I'm making it general. If you like something, and if you think it is special, and it appeals to you, you don't mind spending as much. Courtesy credit cards or your own money, right? That is called desirability. Desirability, right? If you find something unique, you say, wow, no, this one I need. It could be a watch, it could be anything else. The more it appeals to you, the more you desire. God desired every human being He created, that He said, I don't want them to die. I want their soul to live forever with me. Because of that utmost desire, He gave His life even before you are born, so that through Him you get life eternal. That is what Christmas is all about. God coming down, His light and His love come together in the life of Christ. Thank you very much for bearing with me and being here. God bless you. Have a blessed Christmas. Have a blessed Christmas.